Hi everybody, Scott Kelby here, and I wanted to give you guys here on the blog an exclusive behind the scenes look at the new grid set, how it came to be, and some of the interesting, hopefully interesting, stories about the set itself. So the first thing is a little bit of trivia kind of thing, like a little known thing. See the front of the desk here? This part right here? This is actually an homage to the old set. This piece was what hung behind us and had the sign, the grid in. And we thought we might be able to put a TV in, so we pulled it down from the old set and we went to a TV we already had here, and it fit exactly in there. Just absolute total luck. So that is the homage to the old set. It is the old grid sign set with the TV in the middle of it. Now this table is just one of those tables from Uline. It's basically a work table, and I needed one that was big enough to be able to seat 3 people at. So we ordered it from there. These were put together by our crew here. We put some stickers on it and stuff. It is literally just to hide the power cable from my laptop, and we have 2 of these. One goes on either side so we can have a way to hide the cables. But we kind of like the industrial look of the whole table, and it took me a long time to find one, but when we found it, we were excited, and it was very inexpensive, and they literally had it here the next day. It came by truck. Now the set itself used to be, and sounds terrible, we used to call it the granny set. So we had made a set, actually somebody had hired us to do a video, and they wanted it to look like someone's house, maybe an older person's house. So the furniture and the layout, it was yellow, and it really was pretty awful. So this is the set we decided, we hated the granny set. Every time I'd walk by it, we would cringe. It's just like, oh, the granny set. So here's what we did. If you look at the walls behind there, those walls are actually pressed concrete boards. Those are the things that you would put in your shower before you put the tile on. So the guy that built that part of the set for us came up with the idea to make it look kind of concrete, because I sent him some ideas. I wanted this underground hacker look, and he goes, I think I can get that kind of concrete wall looking stuff. So that's what it is basically. They roughed it up a little bit, but those are literally what you put inside your shower before you put the tile on, and they're waterproof and all that kind of stuff. Now, the rest of the stuff that you see on the set came from all over, and I'll kind of just take you around, so come on this way. So we'll start over here. This is the latest addition to the set. We were looking for some props for Photoshop World for a shoot, and this fan I looked at online, this old Westinghouse fan. I can't tell you how expensive it was it was like $400. Like, people were selling them at ridiculous prices, and I looked over and I go, that's the fan I was looking for a couple of months ago. So that's the newest thing. These racks we already had here in the office, these metal racks, we used them for all kinds of storage and stuff. So I looked on TV at all of these underground hacker-like TV shows. Almost every single one of them use these exact same racks that you can buy at Target. A lot of the blue cables in here, this all came from our IT department. This is stuff, a lot of this stuff is just stuff that doesn't work anymore, or we had from before. Old routers and stuff, and we just stuck a bunch of cables in it just for looks. They don't really do anything. They're just kind of hanging out there. Look, here's some old routers and just a bunch of more blue cables. Back here, this Cobalt work desk is actually from the photo studio, which is on the other side of this wall is our photo studio, and it probably is still full of photo stuff. Well, that looks apparently like a keyboard, but under here, yep, there's gaffer's tape in different colors. Down here, Ellen Chrome boxes, Expo disc. It's all like camera geared stuff down there. So this rack was one of the last things that came on the set. So our IT guy, Ron, was helping us kind of put some of this stuff together. He's the one that came up with all these switches and stuff. And he goes, the lights still blink, but we don't use them for anything. You know, we haven't used them for years. I'm like, perfect. And Ron gave us all these cables. But he comes to me, he takes me to the server room. And by the way, I never go in the server room for anything ever. It's cold, it's air conditioned, they put servers and stuff. I don't know. And this was here and it was empty. He goes, do you think you'd want to use this for the set? I'm like, are you kidding me? And so they wheeled it over here and we put all these things in here. Now some of these things, like this is one of my favorite ones. They just light and blink and they don't actually do anything. And I'll talk about where we get those in a moment. But take a look up here. We've got some liquor. So my wife Calibra thought that for a real underground hacker set, it wouldn't be super clean and that you'd have some food laying around. Well, she goes to this set for props where she buys all kinds of different stuff. And so this is a little liquor, so that kind of sits here on the set. And we also have over here a Coca-Cola, little prop. My favorite one, of course, is the shrimp lo mein. That is right up here. So we have little pieces of Chinese food around here and spilled drinks. We got a spilled coffee cup down below. Now, here's an interesting thing about this stuff. All these things that are in racks except for the network stuff, like these and these. We either found them on eBay and they ran literally, I'm not making this up, anywhere from $10 to $30 each. The most expensive one was $65. But we drove to Orlando, Florida. So I remember that literally, I'm not making this up, 25 years ago, I went to a place and it's called something. What's it called, Juan? Craft? It'll hit me in a minute, but it's a place in Winter Park, Florida, just off the interstate, and they basically sell electronic surplus. Most of the things that were in here, including like this 6-channel monitor and stuff, and this big thing down here, we bought them all for $9.95 each. So 10 bucks a piece for a lot of this stuff. This Sage thing down here, this is my favorite ones because all it has is a button and a key. So it's like you launch something. And we don't even plug it in because we have no idea what it does, and we don't really care because it's just a set piece. See these cameras? Skycraft, that's what it's called. Skycraft in Winter Park, Florida. It's a picture like double the size of like a Walgreens or a CVS with nothing but electronic junk everywhere. See these cameras? They had a box of them, $5 a piece. And look, back here, our Manfrotto magic arms holding up with duct tape and a clamp, $5 monitors. Right up above those, if you go a little higher, you see some light bulbs hanging from the ceiling. My wife, Calibra, found those. She was actually going to use them for another set. And when I just started describing what I wanted to build, she goes, honey, I got your lights already. And she took me to the page and I'm like, that's it, order them right now. I love those lights. They're really low wattage and they kind of look like, you know, a cross between like a fire extinguisher. I mean, what would you call that? That puts out a fire automatically.
Or sprinkler system?
Yeah, sprinkler system. Thank you, Juan. I just did the grid, so my mind's already kind of fried. Down here at the bottom, we're running all these monitors. Now, these are monitors that we had in-house. 4 of these are from the old Photoshop user TV set. These 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They used to be attached to one of the walls. So we already had those. And this was one we bought for a different class we were doing. These we already had in-house. These are Dell monitors, and they say Dell in big letters. We put gaffer's tape over them in black so you don't see the silver. It looked kind of funky seeing the silver on the set. And then down bottom, they're all run off of 2 old Apple G5s. And we got it on the set. Ron, our IT guy who was helping us with a lot of this stuff, says, you know, I can take the covers off so they'll kind of just look cool. And so that's what we did. Those are just pulled the covers off. And then we put up in the top here, see these little things? We have little blue LEDs. So you can buy these things for next to nothing for like 10 bucks. Little strips of them. They come in long strips, and then you literally, this one's kind of falling down, you just tape it. They're sticky, and you tape it up to the roof of whatever you want. Can't get it to stick, as you can see. So those blue lights are all over the place in here. And literally, they're so inexpensive. You can go to Amazon and buy rolls of them, and they're super low wattage. All right, over here, we've got just more junk, another rolling table. I found that back in the warehouse, that blue case and an old Dell monitor. And the guy that built the set showed up with a 55-gallon drum. No, he showed up with the red tube behind. The 55-gallon drum is from the Photoshop user TV set. He showed up with that red tube in the background and just said, I thought you might use this. And we're like, yeah, just leave it there. I ordered a clock over there, just a real generic looking clock for like $6 off of Amazon. Because I noticed that in a lot of these hacker sets, there was a clock on the wall, like an old-fashioned clock. If you look back here to the windows, those were granny windows with drapes and blinds over them. Leighton went and got some like stock images and stuff and made stickers for the wall. And then one of our viewers sent us the gorilla holding the camera and said, would you put this up on the grid set? We're like, yeah, we will. This is more old junk. This was my favorite one. This is the one that was the most expensive. This was $65. That's our pride and joy. We have no idea what it does. Eric Kuna found an old Sony tape deck. We used to actually run it on the show. We don't anymore. This is another one of those $10 things. This was $10, $10. This was $10. No, this was like from eBay. It was like $20. This one, we actually, look, we put graphics in there. We opened up the faceplate and spray mounted graphics in there. That actually does work, but all it does is make fuzzy noises. This is an old control room monitor we used years ago. Some empty cases. I mean, it's just really just a bunch of stuff that we found around. These were $10 a piece, the Apollo ones and Apollos. And it's just literally stuff that was laying around. Old cameras that don't work. This is one of my favorite ones. I got this one for $4.99. It's just a voltmeter. It doesn't, I don't know what it does, but I love it, and it fits right there, and that's where it belongs. So that is kind of your tour behind the scenes here of the grid, and of course all this junk. It's always good to have a fire extinguisher, you know, because things get hot. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little behind the scenes look of our new set. Well, I guess it's not that new anymore, but it still feels new after doing the old set for 6 years. I don't know if you can see it from here, but the old set's right across. I'll go walk over there so you can see it. It's really dark over there, but just so you can see, that's where the old grid set was, right there. So we were right across the hall from the old grid set. Anyway, thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed this little peek behind the scenes on the set of the grid.